Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our major stories. The Senate insists the customs must appear before it in uniform. President Muhammadu Buhari discusses the economy, politics and security with Senate President and House of Representatives Speaker. 49 million naira cash discovered by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission at the Kaduna airport. And suspected pirates hijack a ship laden with crude oil off the coast of Somalia. Just a quick reminder to you now that for more on our top stories and others, please visit our website, channelstv.com and youtube.com/channelsweb. You can also watch us on the go on your mobile device. Log on to m.channelstv.com or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. Having the Channels TV and Channels 24 app will give you access to news and updates. You also have the eyewitness feature, so you too can be part of the news. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the eyewitness menu and follow the instructions to share those pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Nigeria's headline inflation has declined for the first time in 15 months, showing 17.78% year-on-year in February from 18.72% posted in January. According to the National Bureau of Statistics' latest report released today, food inflation rose to 18.53% year-on-year from 17.82%. Core inflation declined to 16% year-on-year in February from 17.9%, and urban inflation fell to 18.57% year-on-year from 20.31%, while rural inflation dipped to 16.98% from 17.34% in January. So, what does all this mean for us? To discuss today's latest inflation figures and the impact on the economy, I'm now being joined on the news at 10 by an economist and the managing director of financial derivatives company, Mr. Bismarck Rewane. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good evening, Joma.
And what's a day to have you in the chair when it's a day of figures?
Yes.
All right.
Good news.
Yeah. Oh, really? Quite a drop we see. I mean, first time in about a year.
Expected.
So what's happening?
Basically, this is a period when we are having good news. We had the Eurobond, 1 billion naira oversubscribed. We had oil production up to 2 million barrels a day. We have oil price 100% higher than what it was last year. That's on the fiscal side. We had a launching of the economic recovery and growth plan. Now, on the monetary side, where we've been having problems all along, now the good news is that the central bank has been able to increase the reserves to above $30 billion, been able to get the currency to appreciate all the way to 457, has been able to bring inflation. Inflation is the main target of the central bank. After 15 months of increases, we've now begun to see a decline. Why is this happening at this time? It is happening because February last year was when the foreign exchange madness started, and it had an impact on prices. February this year is when the foreign exchange sanity started, and we are beginning to see the effect. When you compare February last year with February this year, you can see the difference. Yeah,
but even though you say the foreign exchange sanity began this year, when are people going to start feeling it? The economists are excited, but not everybody is as excited.
No, it takes time. The transmission time between when policies are made and when the impact is felt is about 60 to 90 days. But people are already feeling it already, because this currency was at 520 on the parallel market about 2-3 weeks ago. Now it's at 457, and that's 22%. You don't have that kind of appreciation without something fundamentally happening. So I think this is great news, and the people begin to feel the impact. This is an economy which is highly dependent on imports. It has a marginal propensity to import of about 0.63. And so when you get the exchange rate mechanism right, or start moving towards some form of sanity, the impact gets felt over time.
All right, just explain something to us. I mean, we have headline inflation slowing to 17.8%. That's down. But then food inflation increasing to 18.53%. So, you know, people are thinking, why is that? Are we going to pay more? Are things cheaper?
See, food is seasonal. The planting season is in February. The harvest season is August and September. During the planting season, there's some scarcity. So what we've seen is that food inflation went up, but the non-food inflation, which is exchange rate sensitive, actually came down. And you would see that by March, you begin to see, we think that inflation will come down to about 16.5%. And so that's good news. Once you start seeing inflation go down, you now begin to see the flows of currency. But the critical thing here is that our foreign exchange inflows have come high from as low as $700 million a month to about almost $2 billion a month. So we're lucky, and we are managing the things right. Right? So what do we expect to see? If you compare to other African countries, as you can see in the slides, you find that Nigeria inflation is down to 7.78, Angola is down to 40.39, Ghana is down to 13.3, only Kenya went up to 9.04, and South Africa is down to 6.6. All of these countries maintain the status quo in their monetary policy committees. So why is this happening? One of the major issues you have to think about is power. We have a power problem in Nigeria. If power is resolved, then productivity increases. When productivity increases, inflation is sustained. If you don't resolve the power situation, you have a problem. So the power sector is insolvent to all intents and purposes. There has to be intervention. We are losing daily a sum of 40.3 billion naira a day in power losses, bringing to a total of almost 450 billion naira a year, which is almost equivalent to what we are budgeting. So we got to resolve the power problem, and it has both its financial and other physical issues. That has to be resolved to do that. And then we have to go back to what is the central bank going to do on Monday.
I was just going to ask you that, because are we going to sustain this? What do you think they're going to do?
Well, there are 12 members of the Monetary Policy Committee. From all indications, there are about 8 hawks and 4 doves. The hawks would like to be restrictive, the doves would like to be accommodative. Because inflation has come down, we think that the CBN is likely to adopt a wait-and-see approach. There's not much they can do, because is this a blip, or is this something that's going to be sustained? So what's the outlook? We think that the Naira will appreciate some more in March to about 440 from 457.
Yeah, is this the outlook you're giving us?
Yeah, the outlook.
All right.
And then electricity sector is insolvent. The CBN must intervene. They must put money into that sector, because to all intents and purposes, that sector is grounded. The daily loss is 1.3 billion naira, and the annual loss is 474 billion. The price of diesel is down to 260. It may drop to 250, and inflation in March will slide to 16.5. So what we are seeing is that the fiscal side has done their job. The money side is getting its act together. The central bank seems to be on top of things, and they're moving in the right direction. They've applied the forwards to meet the backlog which they had, and now they're doing more of spots. What is needed now is an attempt to bring down the treasury bill rate, not the policy rate, but at least to bring the treasury bill rate so that the cost of borrowing of the government, 1, the cost of borrowing of industry, 2, and the cost of borrowing to actually invest in the economy is reduced. And the cost of intervention is also reduced.
All right, Mr. Bismarck-Perwane, thanks a lot for that analysis.
Happy days ahead. Okay.
Hopefully, we should keep our fingers crossed on that one. Thanks for joining us again on the News at 10 tonight. And let's cross over to Abuja now. Here's Gloria Umezoke. Gloria.
Hello, Joma. Hundreds of youths under the aegis of the Nigeria Youth Council marched through major streets in the nation's capital. They say they are out to welcome back President Muhammadu Buhari from his medical vacation in the United Kingdom and to demand that he fulfill his campaign promises to them, especially provision of jobs. The factional chairman of the Youth Council, Mr. Murtala Garba, who led the march to the office of the Minister of Sports and Youth Development, also asked the president not to relent in his anti-corruption crusade.
We are here in the canopy of our dear Minister of Youth, passing a letter or a message to our dear President. We are still with him. He should continue fighting corruption. He should continue fighting corruption. We say no for corruption. He should continue uniting the country. And he promised Nigerian youth every year 3 million jobs. We want this promise to be granted. We want this promise to be approved. Our dear President, we are calling of our dear incorruptible leader, President Muhammadu Buhari. We are calling on you, our dear father. We pray for you all over this country. We are the hope of this country. We are the future. We are the hope of this country. We are calling on you. We are tired at home. We are tired in the garage. We are tired jobless, unemployment, insecurity, fighting corruption. She continue. We are calling of our dear President, President Muhammadu Buhari, fulfill your promise. Fulfill your promise. We have your history right from military to democracy. You are a man of your word. Nigerian youth, we are here to receive our mandate.
Lawmakers in the House of Representatives have again condemned what they describe as the persistent invasion and attacks on communities in Benue State by armed herdsmen. Following a debate on the matter, the House asked President Muhammadu Buhari to set up a task force to disarm all herdsmen in different parts of the country. The lawmakers are also asking the Inspector General of Police to investigate the violence in the communities. Our correspondent, Lanre Lasisi, has the report.
For some time now, accounts of armed herdsmen attacking communities around the country appear to have reduced. But again, some communities are being attacked. This lawmaker informed the House of Representatives that over the weekend, some communities in Benue State were attacked by armed herdsmen.
Also disturbed that these violent attacks continued unabated without any intervention from any security agency throughout that Saturday, and 20 people were reported killed by these armed herdsmen, out of which 10 bodies have so far been recovered and deposited at the local government mortuary.
The debate was passionate.
So I feel there is no sentiment about life and death. There is no tribe. We must have to sit down, as colleagues advise. Who are these interest groups that are killing people?
Mr. Speaker, this happens, then we stand up in this house, observe a minute silence, and we say, may their souls rest in peace. And then what? We do nothing.
Another lawmaker puts forward another way of addressing the issue.
If this house is to take a very political mind steps, it is only a bill that will give a legal teeth for restriction of movement of animals except by vehicle into a ranch, as is obtainable in the United States of America.
That suggestion was, however, put aside. The House is urging President Muhammadu Buhari to set up a task force to disarm all herdsmen in different parts of the country. Lawmakers are also urging the Inspector General of Police to investigate the killings and destruction of property in the communities, arrest those responsible, and restore security to the areas affected.
Those in support of the motion as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The House was also informed of the death of the former governor of Old Benue State, Dr. Samuel Gbemudia, and former governor of the Old Western State of Nigeria, Adeyinka Adebayo. The House observed a moment of silence in their honor. Lanre Lasisi, Channels Television News.
When the news at 10 returns, First Bank holds its maiden agricultural exhibition as federal government promises more support for the sector. That's on Business News. Please join us again.